Welcome back to The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky. Last time, we took care of that one request for the Genis Royal Academy students and got rid of one of our wanted monsters, the Blade Fang. Our last wanted monster is up the top of Anvil Tower, so we'll be covering that this time, along with 23 chests. Yep, there are a lot of them in the tower, starting with this one, EP Charge 2. Wow, look at all this air! That's a pretty good one. Now, is there a second one somewhere down here? No, it looks like that's the only one outside the tower. So, before we go in, I just want to go over a few things in terms of my status. So, Estelle and Agate are a little higher level, and that's because I grinded a couple of Shining Palms off camera just to level up Zin a bit, and also Tita, although you won't see that until a bit later. So, Zin unfortunately doesn't learn Thunder God Kick until level 65. Hopefully we'll see that during this chapter, but we might not. I'm really looking forward to showing off Thunder God Kick. In terms of augments, Zin, actually, he's kind of missing something here, but I guess I can give him Yin Yang, because these healing arts are not going to be any less effective on someone with lower ATS. They heal for a fixed amount of HP. You might also notice that I've unlocked a few more slots on him to get him to use Attack 4. With all of the level 4 quartz that we're getting at this point, you don't want to neglect slot upgrading. I kind of have, and it has sort of come back to bite me a little bit. I definitely should be upgrading more of Agate slots, because yeah, it's worthwhile to do this even on physical attackers, because some of the level 4 quartz, like Action 4 and Attack 4, are very, very useful to them. Speaking of slots, I've upgraded a lot of Shera's slots, because, yeah, I actually needed to grind for Sepith for the first time in the playthrough in order to do this, because I found out that she was 1 time energy off getting Death Scream, and that really bugged me. So, now she has Death Scream through a combination of EP4, EP Cut 3, and Action 4. Also, I forgot to show this off last time, but the Tornado Fan blocks Poison and Freeze. A bit of a weird combination, and I don't think it's going to be that helpful where we're going, so I think I'm going to go ahead and use the... may as well use the, Is there anything here that blocks Mute? Okay, Eisenritter's Metal. Prevents Seal and Mute. So, we should be ready. Let's move out. Okay, no chest hidden behind the beginning. So yeah, Anvil Tower is weirdly enough the only one of the 4 towers that is required to visit in SC. However, it's kind of interesting to note that a speedrun of this game still visits all 4 of them, because the items that you find are just that good. Did you hear about the girl who paid for everything with black Sepith crystals? She said it was only costing her time! Honestly, don't pay for everything in black Sepith crystals because you want those. They're really good. And poison. Oh, this is it! This is it! This is it! This is my favorite chest point in the entire game! The truth is, there's only one treasure chest in this entire world. It just follows you around, filling itself with new goods for you to plunder. I know that's instantly contradicted by the fact that there's another chest over here, but I still love that quote so much. When I first played this game, I actually posted a screenshot of that on my Tumblr, so you can still find that if you search for Trails in the Sky on my Tumblr, although there might be some spoilers for a little later there, so maybe be careful when you're searching there. I did my best to overall avoid posting anything directly spoilery. Okay, here's the green Insectos and the violet Pom. The green Insectos are, yeah, a lot of things in here are weak to wind because this is the Earth-based tower. Let's see. Obviously, Shera would have Aerial because she's kind of restricted to a lot of wind-based arts. And I kind of doubt Zin can do anything productive here before everything inevitably explodes to Aerial. Yep, inevitable explosion. And expect to get a lot of Earth Sepith here too. I thought for a second that thing survived with 1 HP, but it didn't. Okay, so this leads down here and actually to not the stairs. Firefly Fungus getting dropped by random enemies. I don't think that was the case in the first game. But I'm glad I took this path first, because it led straight to a chest. A bunch of Sepith. The chest is empty. No, seriously, it's really empty. This ties in quite well with what I was saying about wanting to upgrade a lot of your slots at this point in the game, so yeah, that's good. And we have stairs here, but there was one path a little earlier in this floor we didn't take, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I do that, because otherwise I might... Nope, it's just an Insector. So let's head to the next floor. Third floor, and 2 more chests, Reviving Balm. Inside is a single piece of paper. It's a teaser for a brand new game called Trails in the Chest. It looks boring. You put the paper down and leave. Courier Balm. It's alive, and I'm hungry. Feed me. Well, I mean, maybe that was how the first Mimic was created. And still more of them. Yeah, even though there are a ton of chests in this tower, most of them are very obvious. You open the chest and wait for an item to levitate from the chest and into your hands. Nothing happens. Surprise cookie. Wow, it's been I'm kind of confused because surprise cookies have long since lost their usefulness now, so I don't know why there's one in there. Maybe in case you missed the recipe during the prologue? That is a good point, because otherwise you wouldn't have a second chance to obtain it. Why did you have to come back? You could have just walked away with the goods, but now the treasure chest has you right where it wants you. Okay, yet more of these poms. Okay, leads back here. Or we can head around this rim to find 2 more chests and some more stairs. Tyrrell Balm. You sit down in the empty chest. You feel safe here. Conscious that you're being stared at, you crawl out, sheepishly. That one's also pretty good, I can just picture Estelle doing that. HP 4, not bad. You find a skeleton wearing a name tag reading MT Chester. Sorry, that was a lie. You don't find anything. Wow, that MT Chester really gets around, despite being dead. Can anyone use this HP 4? Yeah, I could give it to Zin, although that does mean that I need to waste some healing on him to top him up. Okay, I won't head up the stairs just yet. Okay, for how fragile these things are, they definitely hit hard. Okay, Zin is getting one step closer to Thunder God Kick, that's good. If you do somehow manage to get that before the fight at the top of the tower, it actually really helps there. Okay, is this monsters? No, Topaz Talisman. You obtain nothing! Absolutely nothing! And, okay, by going through the central part and heading through here, we get 2 more chests. S-Tablet. You don't understand how hard it is to come up with 500 unique treasure chest phrases that are brimming with sarcasm. There's not 500 unique ones, but there are only slightly more than 500 chests in the whole game. Tyrrell Balm. Do you remember the last time you opened this chest? The chest remembers. So, my notes tell me to take the middle path on floor 3 first, but I'm not entirely sure what past me meant by middle path. But I guess we'll see if this is the right one. Oh great, these things. You know, we actually saved Professor Alba from these back in the day, and that actually leads me to an interesting thing I can talk about. So, yeah, we had an escort mission with Professor Alba last time, and him, quote-unquote, dying gives you a game over. Which seems a little weird considering he's actually Weissman and thus like pretty much the big bad of the Sky series, and so yeah, maybe letting him die would be a good thing. But my headcanon as to why that happens is that if he runs out of HP in the tower, that reveals that he's a lot stronger than he seems, and thus he just murders you because you know his secret. That's my headcanon as to why that game over works. Of course, these things have stupidly high defense, and they can debuff your strength just by hitting you. That's pretty annoying, but they're really weak to art, so with all of these very powerful arts boosting items on Shera, they're not too bad. And hey, they both walk into perfect range for that. She is starting to run a little bit low on EP, despite having EP 4. Definitely shows that a lot of the other casts in this game are, yeah, not... definitely outclass Shera a little bit later on. How many years does it take for a story of heroes to become a legend of heroes anyway? Refreshed jelly, I'll always take more of those. Sure, the chest looks nice enough, but you wouldn't want to get on its bad side, especially with your hand inside of it. That's a good point. And this right here, I have suspicions, but... yeah, I don't remember a lot of the monster chests, but I guess it does make things more exciting. Yep, that one actually was monsters. So we've got here robber trappers again, except this time they're weak to aerial, so this should hopefully not be that bad. But we do start right up in the faces of one of them, so if it explodes in our face, that's not going to end well. Yes, please walk forward into my aerial rage. Even though, the problem with Shera being my main caster is that I can't really afford to have her use Heaven's Kiss as much. It's exactly the kind of dilemma you have with Fire Emblem Three Houses when you've got like one of your main casters and you've made them a dancer. You can't use their really good turn efficiency moves without sacrificing offense. Okay, I don't know how much this is going to do, but I guess we'll see. It actually did solid damage to the Robber Trapper. Okay, arts, and more arts, and more arts, and all of them are going before I get a chance to cancel. That's not good. That could be a problem. Also, I have switched over Zin's S-Craft to Disable 2 rather than All Blast, because... and I've also switched Agat's over to... I've switched Agates over to, what's it called, Beatdown 2 and not Final Break, because AoE attacks really don't mean much when the escalation in the enemy's defense values means that you're going to barely be doing any damage, and I'm going to immediately S-Break with Estelle because there's a very good chance that she will die here if I don't. That'll blow up and hit Zin. I do know that True Barrage has a tendency to do a lot of damage. That's kind of the one, unfortunately the one unique thing Estelle has going for her, is that her S-Crafts are all single target, but are all extremely strong. Oh boy, this could be bad if all of these decide to explode in the face of all of us. But at least Zin will get a chance to run away before the attacks slash explosions go off. Brave Sir Zin ran away. Oh, that's not good. That's gonna redirect, isn't it? Okay, redirected to Agate, which is actually not bad because now he can run where it won't be able to hit anyone else. So that's useful. Okay, let's see how much this does. Actually, very good damage. I did mention earlier that this is like, oh, nice, we get the drain, the absorb healing from that, from each hit of that. But yeah, I did mention earlier that this is about the point in the game where the difficulty starts to average out on hard mode. And it definitely coincides with you being able to easily synthesize level 4 quartz in stores. They're just that powerful. I do not want to accidentally run though, that would not end well after I've been doing so well at this fight. Holy crap. Well, I guess we know who's missing out on the experience in this fight. It definitely starts to become a bit more Rocket Tag gameplay now. We have access to much better damage dealing tools, but the enemy still hits very, very hard. And in that we get Phantom 2. It's empty, obviously. Probably should have thought this one through. It's funny, Olivier has a weapon called Phantom and one named Trickster. And this predated Persona 5 by a very long time. Although, of course, Persona 5, as you can tell by there being a character who is called a Phantom Thief in this game, Persona 5 definitely didn't invent the concept of Phantom Thieves. In fact, Phantom Thieves have existed since long before Japanese fiction as well. They've been, yeah, a pretty big literary archetype for a long time. I mean, a lot of French works were a big inspiration for them, but anyway. I've kind of got a lot of nested tangents here that I kind of need to think of and then come back to later, but another one is, yeah, so the 2 S-crafts, even the single target ones, because of the ridiculous escalation in defense values on hard mode, along with the damage formulas being really brutal on hard mode, I mean, they're the same, it's just they're not designed to account for the ridiculous stat inflation. You open the empty chest open again and again, cackling maniacally to yourself. You know it contains some secret, it just has to. That's another really good one. But yeah, the escalation in defense values means that anything that does not have a 2 in front of it at this point in the game, it just won't be able to do a lot of damage, even if it's an S-craft. Thankfully, we do get upgraded versions of the AoE S-crafts later, and in fact, I think Agat's upgraded version of Final Break is coming very soon. As you open this already empty chest, its hinges pinch you in revenge. That one's pretty good too. Okay, so let's just head up here and see if this leads to progress or just to more chests. I can actually say progress this time because we actually do need to get to the top of this tower. I don't think I want to fight that turtle. Okay, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in the middle there. And this leads down. So let's take this. And here we have another one. Gladiator headband! Remember the stuff you took from here last time? Yeah, the chest was trying to afford chess college. Guess it has to start over again. Well, gladiator items are always amazing, so yeah, I'm okay with that. In fact, I'd actually rather have that on Agat than the... Well, I don't even need the soft knit cap right now, so I may as well equip the gladiator headband. Not that he really needs it, since he does have Wild Rage 2. In fact, Xena's probably going to need gladiator items very, very soon. Because once he gets Thunder God Kick, Xin wants to have as much CP as humanly possible. Reviving Bomb. Inside the chest is a tear in the fabric of reality. Don't poke at it. Just reminded of that one Doctor Who episode where there are the cracks in the fabric of reality and anyone who touches them is erased from existence. Yeah, that was an interesting subplot. Okay, back on the 5th floor. I may have to head back down to the 4th floor because there might have been a passageway that I didn't quite go down. And just in case there are monster chests around here, I'm going to go ahead and EP charge Shera. Because I really, really need EP on her going forward. And in here we have this crystal formation, as well as a ton of chests on the sides. Yep, all of which are the red and gold type, which can be a monster chest potentially. That one wasn't, long barrel 2. This chest may not have anything in the way of riches or possessions, but it's filled to the brim with hopes for the future and love for the world. Yep, I knew at least one of them would be monsters, and it's the exact same setup as before, so unless anything really interesting happens, I'll see you back here after this fight. Okay, and from that we get Ebony Shoes. Oh no, the shoes of a Mary Sue. You kick the chest open, but all you get for your talented footwork is a stubbed toe. Ow. Okay, the Inobi shoes are ironically male only, and they increase ATS, so that's being saved for Olivier. Okay, there's a not 0 chance this might be another one. No proxy puppet, okay, that's pretty useful. Let's take all the typos we accidentally left in the game at launch and shove them all in here. Pretend they never happened. That one's a very good one as well. Yeah, I saw a few of those in Chapter 4. But hey, this game's localization is good enough that I can forgive a few typos. Star Rabbits. You sneakily crack the lid of the chest and take a peek inside. Sadly, no treasure chest fairies flying around in there. No items either. So, I really like the name Star Rabbits. These are female exclusive, and they, okay, they boost agility. They do not boost speed, though, so honestly, not really that big a fan of those. They do have a cool name, but, other than that, I don't know. Okay, I think we're fine. What we're not entirely fine on, though, is EP. And we do need to heal a little bit, because this upcoming fight can be a bit of a pain. But I might want to put the Deathblow Quartz on someone. Seal. Do I have anything better in terms of, I don't have any better, Fire Quartz. Because I sort of want Death Blow on someone with AoE attacks. Because the upcoming fight, they're not actually immune to Death Blow. So I guess I can put that on Estelle. Okay, let's head upstairs to the roof of the tower, and that right there is the monster we're searching for. It looks pretty horrifying. So, let's go. And, yeah, there's a lot of them. And they have an attack called Space Jam that just makes me think of that movie. Oh, crap, this. Yeah. Okay, Meteor Storm is kind of a pain. It hits multiple times, and I think it can inflict fate. But yeah, these things are Octobones, which sounds like something out of Splatoon, but anyway. Mysterious Mollusk from Space is acting a bit oddly. So yet another monster that's acting strangely. I wonder what that could imply. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and have Sherry use Death Scream. And Estelle, I'm going to go ahead and True Hurricane to see if I can get a Death Blow proc on any... Yeah, Death Blow proc on any of these. Did not get one. But yeah, as I said, they're not immune to that. Go for that 60%, that 60% strength buff there. And yeah, these mods in particular will sometimes confuse themselves, so don't underestimate Meteor Storm, but overall, if you're lucky with them confusing themselves and hitting each other, it's really not that bad of a fight. We finally get to see the beauty that is Trails series well, just Trails in the Sky confusion, for once in SC. I actually just want to hit you two, because I don't want to Death Blow the ones that are confused. They're a source of firepower from my side, at least. I guess. But yeah, because they nerf Chaos Brand a lot, I think I just got the instant death proc on the two that were confused from that. Yeah, with a nerf to Chaos Brand, you're not very likely to see confusion that much outside of enemies that can confuse themselves, which is kind of a shame, but given how broken confusion was in FC, I can see why they nerfed it. And, well, this fight is going pretty smoothly right now. Yeah. All of these things, not exactly the toughest monsters in the world. I probably should have used Shadow Spear, but oh well. Death Scream looks cooler. And actually does do more damage, but it does cost an enormous amount of EP. And this thing should hopefully be down very soon. Is it going to split, or... No, it's going to absorb CP rather than HP, which isn't really going to help it right now. And there, finally, we've got Death Blow.
Piece of cake.
Yeah, that really was a piece of cake. I've actually seen that fight go incredibly badly, so, yeah, I got kind of lucky with the confusion there. And that is all three of them. But yeah, something wasn't right here. And by the way, this is in fact a bonus BP question. The monsters were afraid is the correct answer. Even though agitated also kind of makes sense. The fact that, like, an Cthulhu-esque looking abomination of teeth and tentacles is afraid of something, that doesn't bode well. That really, really doesn't bode well. Something is a little weird in this region. You know what they say about animals often noticing the signs of a disaster before it happens? As Akid is saying, he's experienced something similar. But he's gonna go ahead and Tales of Symphonia us about it. And yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about. Like, you often see, like, animals predicting forest fires. They're usually the first to flee when that happens. So this is definitely something very ominous is going on here. And so our next step is to go back and report to the guild house. If you missed any chests, you are not automatically taken out of the tower, so you can go ahead and do another sweep of the lower floors if you want, which I might actually do. There's just a lot of chests in here. It's not totally imperative that we get everything now, because we can come back here later, but it's good practice for later in the game, where let's just say we will encounter some places where we will definitely not be going back, and they have as many as 50 chests in them. Sometimes more. I thought I'd open a few more slots on Agate while I'm here. We are stuck with him for this chapter, like I said earlier. So I may as well give him more access to better quartz. So I should mention, another bonus BP question is coming up, so you may want to save before going into the guild house. So, it's finally time to report in. Oh, okay, you actually have to, like, talk and not report to do this. That's kind of weird, but I guess report's just for side quests. And for all that, we finally get paid for these. Wow, just saying the monsters were afraid is worth 3 extra BP? That's kind of generous. So, to cut in here, this is a bonus BP question, and as much as this sounds tempting, we'll be able to help more people if we organize first. We can't panic.